Welcome back to the Prof G and Shively Next Play podcast, season 2. Matt, this is pretty exciting. We have season 2 now officially. Look at that.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah, we're moving into a new season, and so that means new sports to talk about, new sports to follow and track with, and see the progress from start to finish. So, really excited that we have a second season. That means we've made it through one season, and they haven't kicked us out yet. So that's good. Good news.
Hard to get fired from a volunteer job, I think, but
Not impossible.
it can happen. So, but we are excited today though because we are able to sit here with head coach Zack Chilton from Justice Baseball. That's really cool in and of itself to be able to say. So, Zack, thanks for hanging out with us today and giving us a few minutes of your time.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to do it.
Yep. So, just tell us about yourself. Tell us kind of what brought you to Justice in the first place.
Baseball's obviously been my life since I was 5 or 6 years old. Started as soon as I could lace him up and grab a bat. I was playing ball. There's pictures of me when I was probably 2 or 3 years old, chasing my brothers around the house with one of those oversized wiffle ball bats, saying, "Play with me, play with me." So baseball's always been my life. Both my brothers played collegiately. They had a lot of success. One brother was a catcher, the other one was outfielder, but I decided to also follow in the catcher footsteps, which I think helped me see the game from a different point of view to really bring forth the coaching mindset. Because I feel like you look at the MLB and especially college baseball, and most of their managers are all former catchers because we see the game from a different perspective, and we also have to be involved in a lot more than, let's say, a shortstop or center fielder would be. So, but then from there, played collegiately at the D2 level at University of Sioux Falls. As soon as I finished my playing career, immediately called up my former scout team and said, "Hey, do you need help anywhere?" And he's like, "Need a guy for my 15U team." So that's kind of where I got my foot in the door, really learned how to manage a team, how to write a lineup, how to look for, hey, does the right fielder need to scoot over 2 steps because this guy's swing is kind of suggesting he might hit it in that direction, or just little things like that I wasn't really looking for as a player. And then I guess his name is Theron Brockish, that runs the Arizona Pro Baseball Organization. And I guess he saw something in me, because in the next year he's like, "Hey, do you want to move up with your guys to 16U?" And I was like, "Sure." And the next year, "Do you want to move up to 17U?" "Sure." "Want to move to 18U?" "Sure." "Do you want to take over my collegiate roster?" "Sure." So just year after year, I kept going up and up and up. And then, I heard Palmer kind of mention about wanting to bring baseball to Justice. So I threw my hat in the ring and sat down with him, kind of gave him, thinking I was more being an advisor role. And then all of a sudden he's like, "Well, do you want to be the coach?" And I was like, "Absolutely. Be happy to take it over."
It's awesome, man. I've always agreed that catchers make the best coaches in baseball for sure. Now that you've been working through the fall with the guys, getting stats from them, getting exit velos and velocity on the pitchers and stuff like that, what's been your overall feel of the roster you've developed here now that they've kind of gone through a fall season with you?
Overall feel of the roster is excitement. It's a bunch of guys who felt like they might have been down and out in their careers, or kind of exiled, or maybe they went into a program that showed a lot of favoritism versus focusing on development. So you can see the chip on the shoulder that a lot of these guys have, and they're wanting to help put Justice on the map and really make an impact. And we all fall have been quoting that Conor McGregor quote of, "We're not here just to take part, we're here to take over." And I think through our development and partnership with PDP Athletics out here in Chandler, it's unreal what we've done in just 2.5 months of fall ball.
So speaking of the roster, you've brought in, correct me if I'm wrong, 35-ish guys?
37 total, walk in the spring, somewhere between 36 and 38.
That's impressive for a first year. That I'm sure you have to be pretty excited. Were you surprised about kind of the reaction and the willingness of all these guys to come to a brand new program? Or were you like, "Oh, no, I knew I was going to get 40 guys, no problem"?
I was, and that's one thing I was telling the guys, was saying just, through our exit meetings, thank you for trusting, the empty promises at the time that we had of, hey, we can develop you like you've never been developed before, but we had no track record, we had no data to show. We're just claiming, hey, this is what we could do if you show up here. And I had 36, 37 guys that trusted that, and so it was quite impressive to see guys that are willing to buy in that quickly.
Yeah. How many games did we put on the first schedule?
45.
Of those 45, are there any games that you personally are like, man, this is a big game, or this is a circled on my calendar as a must win, or even just little personal reasons, like maybe a previous connection with somebody you're looking forward to playing against or any of that?
Definitely. I mean, we open our season January 31st versus a Division II program out of Memphis in Lemoyne-Owen. And then the very next weekend is the big one. We're facing Arizona Christian in a little round robin, and Arizona Christian's number 15 preseason in NAI. So I think, playing a D2 and then playing number 15 in the country is really going to be hey, here's where we stand. It's really going to kind of show our cards pretty early on, which, is going to help us get even better once we get down into playing our conference play.
That's awesome. Yeah, good early measuring stick to see where they're at. And, I was looking, you posted some stuff on your Instagram page about just the progression of those stats from fall and adding 3 miles an hour on your fastball. That's hard to do over 2 months. What do you think is behind your ability to get those guys to really ramp it up in such a short period as you are getting into this season where you have 45 games?
Yeah, I think it's like I said earlier, it's attributed to PDP Athletics and really them opening their doors and letting us in there. Their owner is Jake Sudrith, who's also our pitching coach here at Justice, and both of us being younger coaches with the younger mindset of, hey, baseball is a game like tag and twister. It's not, as big of a job as a lot of these older coaches want to make it be. And so we like to have fun. Like our active warm-ups we do in the facility is we play spike ball, or we run routes with footballs, or play wall ball, certain things like that, just to bring you back to almost that childlike mentality of, hey, this is a game. I'm supposed to be here having fun. Because once players start to enjoy what they're doing, that's when you really see the growth. And even going back to their childhood of, hey, remember how you used to move so freely? Let's get back to doing that. Because you've had 100 coaches tell you a very specific way to throw. Let's get you back to where your body moves naturally. And I think that's been the biggest thing that we've been able to push towards our players is, how do we move naturally? How does our body want to move? Because I'm built different. You're built different. Prof G is built different. President Palmer, he's built different. We all come from different backgrounds. We all process information differently. And so it's really figuring out, hey, how does each individual player function, think, and react to information?
Yeah, it's amazing, though, that the ability for them to respond so early. That's, I think, a tribute to you and to your pitching coach and that sort of thing. Are there, let's preempt this question by saying I know you probably have a great relationship with a lot of your players, but is there any strength like in a certain position that you feel really good about, or even if you want to drop a name you can, but just something you're really looking forward to, like this is going to be a strong part of our team this year?
I really think our starting rotation is going to be very strong. Our number one guy we're looking at right now is Austin Watson. He's a transfer, went to Utah Valley and then Fresno Pacific. So having a guy who's been in the ringer of the D1, D2 baseball, having that mindset of, hey, I've been here before, kind of being what kicks off each series for us. And then behind him is a junior in Devin Hancock, who just fills it up. And behind him is Jaden Valenzuela, who also will just throw nothing but strikes and just almost Greg Maddox feel, where it's just corner, top, bottom, corner. And you don't know what's coming next. And then I feel offensively we're going to be very, very tough to beat offensively. Every game we've played so far, whether it was the scrimmages versus post-grad or the inter-squad World Series, every single time we're putting up double-digit numbers and double-digit runs. Our first game we won 10-4. And so it's our offense is very, very strong, and that's led by, some of our captains like Troy Williams and Jackson Campbell and Durso Melendez, just to name a few guys who have really stepped up to help lead this team and not only buy in as just a player captain, but almost feeling like a player coach vibes at sometimes.
That's awesome. And you want that on the field leadership, and I know we were talking before you even had a full roster, and you're a big like leadership character guy and who you've been recruiting. And who do you think are your long ball threats? Who's showing up they could hit a couple homers for you guys?
So surprisingly, Kaito Takahashi from Japan, we got him from Kalinga College in California. And I actually messaged their head coach who helped me recruit him and said, hey, just want to let you know Kaito hit 2 home runs today. And he goes, I've never seen Kaito lift a ball in his life. I don't know what you guys are doing over there, but obviously you're doing the right things. So he's already got 2 home runs this fall. Trey Williams looks promising. And then obviously Rosalino Valenzuela. I mean, he's got a 101-mile-an-hour exit velocity just off soft toss. So if we can get him where he needs to be in terms of pitch selection, he's a real threat this year as well.
I think one thing I noticed, because I did go to the game up against post-grad up there against the Roadrunners, and it seemed like you guys were really committed to manufacturing runs. Like you weren't looking for that one guy to come up and hit a long ball. It looked like, let's get guys on base. Let's do this methodically. And that's a statement, I think, to coaching as well. But I think that game you mentioned 10-4, didn't they end an inning early or something too because of wasn't there like a mercy rule or something one of those innings? I could have sworn that like it should have been higher than that when I was watching. I could be wrong. We could edit this part out if I'm wrong. I just remember it being you had scored so much in that one inning. I think they just called it.
Yeah, because it was a preseason scrimmage, we just kept running up the score, and so we agreed beforehand, hey, if it gets out of hand like that, we'll just what's called roll the inning, and just move to the next half. And I think that inning we put up 6 or 7 runs, so it was time to move on and roll. But obviously in spring, we're going to keep running it up until they get 3 outs on us. So,
and I will comment and I don't know if Matt has the same feeling, but as a professor here with your guys in my class too, it seems like you've recruited some pretty high character guys. Out of 37, you may not hit them all, but you've hit a lot of them because most of them are. Putting in the work and showing up for class and all those things. So well done on that side. Cause I know we always talk on this podcast about you're a student athlete, right? Not an athlete student. So, kudos to you on that. What, I guess if the fans were to be looking at coming out to a game, what can they count on from a Justice University Lions roster coached by Zach?
A lot of high energy. I mean, that's what I preach at these guys is, especially at the college baseball level and our level being an NCCA, whichever team comes out with the most energy is going to win 9 out of 10 times, right? The other team might have a guy that throws 95 versus my guy that throws 92. But if we keep the energy up, we're going to beat them 9 out of 10 times, especially because these games have the tendency at the college level to go 3.5, 4 hours. Luckily, there's that pitch clock now that kind of, shortens those games, but still it's whichever team can come out with the most energy. So for us, we're going to be high energy constantly. You're going to hear the entire roster out of the dugout from first pitch to the last out. And I think it's the atmosphere at the games is going to be not a party vibe, but very high energy, stay on them, stay loud type feel.
That's awesome. And kind of follow up to that, what do you need from our fans to help you guys with that vibe?
Yeah, just keeping the energy up, keeping the positivity alive. Baseball has the tendency to be such a negative game. I mean, you look at the best players in the world, like Aaron Judge just won the MVP and he hit 300. So he was successful 3 out of 10 times. Any other sport on the planet where you're successful 3 out of 10 times, you're on the bench, you're cut. But in baseball, you're successful 3 out of 10 times, you're an all-star, you're winning an MVP. And if you're successful 4 out of 10 times, well, people call you an alien and say you're the best to ever do it. So keeping the positive energy is the big one. Keeping the support of, players. Hey, man, loved you in the game yesterday. Keep it up. Even if a player went 0 for 4 strikeouts, right? Hey, man, you really fought up there. Great job. I'm looking forward to the next game. Just keeping the positive vibes out there is really going to help push us further.
Yeah, so, again, appreciate you hanging out with us today. The other thing we haven't really mentioned is you have a brand new field being constructed out there on the outside of the Justice campus here.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully ready for opening day. Not 100% sure, but hopefully that's the case. So another reason for fans to get out here and check that out because that's going to be pretty sweet. I don't know of a lot of brand new programs that get a field year one, so that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, so we'll be right in the middle of the dorms. So, I mean, it's, very much part of the student atmosphere here, and trying to keep as many Justice students and fan bases as we can at the games, every single home game, and, drown out the opposing crowd by just being as loud as we can. So
creates a lot of visibility for the university too, being right there on the road, and people will be like, what happened? What is there at a baseball field here all of a sudden, right? So that's pretty cool. Well, Coach Zack, thanks again for hanging out with us today, giving us a preview of your guys. We wish you nothing but the best this season, and we'll talk to you throughout the season, but hopefully we end the season with good news down the road. Hopefully a long playoff run or even more. Yeah. So thanks again for being here.
Absolutely. Appreciate you.
Thank you again for tuning in to the Next Play podcast with Prof G and Shively. Matt, that was a cool conversation.
It was great. It was great hearing his passion comes through loud and clear. He just loves the game. He loves his team.
His know-how too.
Yeah.
Even, before we started and things, hearing some of the technical terms he's using, I'm like, man, this guy is not just a volunteer coach. This guy knows, and not that he's a volunteer, but you know what I mean? He's not just the guy that raises his hand. He knows what he's doing. Yeah. So very excited. So if you don't already, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. But for now, I am Prof G for Matt Shively, and we will catch you on the next one.
Peace.